All right, let's talk about two of the biggest problems on the planet. What we do with our trash and how we're going to grow our food. They seem like separate issues, right? Well, today, we're going to explore how the solution to both might just come from an insect.
First, I want you to just look at this number. 1.3 billion tons. That's how much food we as a planet waste every single year. It's almost a third of all the food we produce, just gone.
And here's the thing, it doesn't just disappear. All that food waste gets trucked to a landfill where it rots and releases huge clouds of methane gas. And methane is a super potent greenhouse gas, way more powerful at trapping heat than CO2. So we've got a massive waste problem that's also a massive climate problem.
But, that's only half the dilemma. While we're throwing away all that food, we're also facing this other enormous challenge, trying to feed a booming global population on farmland that is, frankly, getting tired. Our soil is weakening.
The numbers are pretty shocking. Right now, somewhere between a third and over half of all the world's soils are already considered degraded. That means the very ground we rely on to grow our food is losing its vitality, its ability to produce the crops we need to survive.
So what have we been doing about it? Well, for the last few decades, the answer has been synthetic fertilizers. NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They give the soil a quick, immediate jolt of nutrients for sure, but it's kind of like a sugar rush. Over time, it can actually harm the soil's natural microbiome, and all that excess chemical runoff pollutes our waterways. It's a short-term fix with some serious long-term costs.
Okay, so we've laid out this huge, two-sided problem. Too much waste on one side and worn-out soil on the other. And this is where our story takes a really interesting turn, because the solution might just be nature's own perfect recycling machine, the black soldier fly.
The life of a black soldier fly is incredibly fast and incredibly focused. The eggs hatch in just a few days, and then the magic begins. For about 2 weeks, the larvae are just voracious, non-stop eating machines. They'll eat pretty much any organic waste you throw at them. After that, they transform, and the adult fly emerges with basically one job, to reproduce and start that amazing cycle all over again.
So what's the result of all this furious eating? Well, as the larvae process all that food waste, they produce something called frass. And yeah, the simple definition is bug poop, but trust me, it is so much more than that.
The whole process has a name: bioconversion. You can think of these little larvae as tiny, living bioreactors. They take a problem, our mountains of organic waste, and through their digestion, they convert it into two amazing products. First, their own bodies become a high-quality protein source for animal feed. And second, they produce this incredibly rich organic fertilizer, the frass.
So what's the big deal about this frass? Well, for starters, it's packed with that same NPK that plants crave, but it's all natural. It tackles the landfill problem head-on by using food waste as its raw material. It takes way less energy to make than synthetic fertilizers, and it's odorless and simple to use. But that third point of the list, the fact that it improves a plant's own pest resistance, that's where things get really fascinating.
Okay, check this out. As the larvae grow, they shed their old exoskeletons, which are made of a compound called chitin. And this chitin gets mixed into the frass. So when you add the frass to the soil, the plant's roots sense the chitin, and it basically freaks out. The plant is tricked into thinking, whoa, insects are attacking me, and it immediately fires up its own natural built-in defense systems. It's like a vaccine for the plant, getting it ready to fight off real pests and diseases.
Now, that sounds amazing in a lab, but does it actually work out in a real farm field? Well, let's head to Kenya, where a groundbreaking study set up a real-world showdown. In one corner, a staple food crop, the potato, and in the other, a tiny, devastating pest.
See, potato farmers in Kenya have a really tough time. Their crop yields are way below the global average, partly due to poor soil, but also because of this microscopic worm called the potato cyst nematode. This little pest infests the soil, attacks the potato roots, and just wrecks the plant's ability to grow.
So the researchers set up a head-to-head competition. The standard treatment, synthetic NPK fertilizer plus a chemical pesticide, went up against the black soldier fly frass, which was fortified with a little extra chitin. And the results were just unbelievable. The chemical approach boosted potato yields by 61% over doing nothing. Pretty good, right? But the frass, it increased the yield by a whopping 72%. And it was even better at stopping the pests from reproducing. Let's just put that into perspective. When you compare the two treatments directly against each other,
The potatoes grown with the Frass produced over 26% more food than the ones grown with the standard chemical fertilizer and pesticide. The natural solution didn't just keep up, it blew the synthetic one out of the water. And what about protecting the plants? Again, Frass was the clear winner. It was significantly better at suppressing the nematode population, basically stopping them from multiplying in the soil. So not only did it feed the plants better, it protected them better, creating a healthier field for the next planting season.
So, let's zoom out. What does this all mean? This is about so much more than just a better fertilizer. This is about a completely different way of looking at our entire system of food and waste. It's about closing the loop. What we're looking at here is a blueprint for a truly sustainable future. It's a perfect model of a circular economy, turning garbage into gold. It's a key tool for regenerative agriculture that actually heals the soil. It helps us break our addiction to synthetic chemicals, building stronger food systems, and ultimately making us all more food secure. The researchers who ran the study put it perfectly. They said its ability to transform waste into valuable resources highlights its potential for environmentally friendly agricultural practices. It's that simple. It just closes the loop.
So, if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. Black soldier fly Frass isn't just a fertilizer. It's a single, elegant tool that does 3 critical jobs at once. It feeds the plant, it helps the plant protect itself, and it restores the health of our soil. It really leaves you with a wild thought, doesn't it? We're always looking for these complex, high-tech solutions to the world's problems. But what if one of the best answers for the future of farming has been here the whole time, just quietly crawling around in our compost?